This podcast of the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs is sponsored by AAA Heating and Air.
The premier HVAC company in the Midlands is growing. Are you a top HVAC technician?
AAA Heating and Air is looking for dedicated applicants to fill their fast-growing service department with top-notch HVAC technicians.
If you're the best, then they want you. If you're ready to stop working and start a career, you can earn up to $100,000 plus a year at AAA Heating and Air.
Quality candidates will have at least 2 years experience and a good driving record. Benefits include top industry salaries, commission on service and unit sales, set call limits, company-provided take-home vehicle and gas card, company-provided cell phone and tablet, health, dental, and vision benefits, 401k retirement plan with company match, and scaled PTO based on length of service.
Contact Roy and Dana Finley at 803-677-1500 or check out their job postings on Facebook or ZipRecruiter.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Football Friday.
Sponsored by Brian's Heating and Cooling.
Brian's Heating and Cooling, where they take your comfort personally. Give them a call for all your commercial and residential comfort needs. 803-796-1788 or briansheatingandcooling.com.
Antoine Juice Wells breaks away at the 30, 20, going for the pylon at the 5, dives for it. Call it. Touchdown, Carolina.
Football Friday on your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Welcome into the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. It is a Football Friday. Tyler West and Chris along with you in the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. Wrapping up a bye week for the Gamecocks, getting you set for what's hopefully a stress-free weekend of watching football. You don't have to worry about the Gamecocks and what's going on with them. We're going to have a peek at Florida coming up tomorrow as they take on Vanderbilt, as well as a litany of great games across the college football landscape. I want to start off with this, though, just scrolling through Twitter a minute ago, and Yuva, your guy from Gamecock Central, has informed me that today is Michael Scarnecchia Day for those that celebrate. This is the 5-year anniversary of the monsoon game. South Carolina beating Missouri 37-35 all the way back in 2018. Fond memories from that game, guys?
Yeah, I mean, that was obviously very memorable. Lots of big plays. Weather, obviously, a factor. And Scarnecchia showing that, that he could get the job done. He stepped up, made some plays. South Carolina had to drive the field at the end and put themselves in a position to score. Didn't Missouri answer back and try a long field goal as well? I mean, it was that actually is quietly one of the better games in South Carolina history in terms of dramatics. I think you had a Sherrod Green pick six right in the middle of a hurricane, basically, is what it felt like. But, yeah, that thing was fun, man.
Who would have guessed that Scarnecchia would outplay Drew Lock in that game? Drew Lock, 204 yards, 2 interceptions.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Drew Lock, talented dude. He also threw a pick to, here's a blast from the past, Jamias Williams in that game. Drew Lock put up huge numbers against Southeast Missouri State all the time. It's really funny to go back and look at his game logs. He would have 600 yards against their offense was good.
It was.
That was a fun game.
He's still hanging around in the league.
That storm system or what, it was completely not anticipated. You remember all the weathermen were talking about how it was literally just over Williams-Brice.
Kind of one of those things it doesn't even show up on the radar because it's just such a little blob. Is that the worst weather game you guys can remember?
Yes.
I'm trying to think.
I don't think there's any others that. I was at Mississippi State in 2016 when we had to evacuate the stadium because of lightning.
Oh,
but it wasn't.
Well, that happens.
That happens. It wasn't a monsoon.
Lot, yeah, torrential downpour.
Yeah. The Missouri one was absolutely wild. Drew Lock threw that ball right to Sherrod Green.
So I don't remember this, but apparently I remember people talking. I think there was a South Carolina NC State game back in like 99. I think Lou Holtz's first year that supposedly was just kind of like didn't NC State and Notre Dame play a game just in
That was earlier this year where it was just
Well, no, that was 2016.
okay.
That they were showing highlights of that earlier this year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Now they did have some weather delays this
Yes.
year as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
That's
Thi-
why they
this
were
one
showing it.
they
Okay.
played in like
A hurricane.
a hurricane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just, I mean, they were sliding all over the place. Apparently, South Carolina and NC State had one of those. Or I think that was 99.
That must have been the same weekend that Carolina and Georgia got moved to that Sunday in 2016 and that hurricane came passing through.
Yeah, probably so. And so, it seems like there's been some weather games, but probably not. There was a huge sort of rainstorm that came in during South Carolina's opener against North Carolina. Oh, God. When would that have been? 2013, I think.
The humidity game?
I don't know what that means.
Extremely
Very humid.
I didn't know it had like a title, the humidity game. But it was like a third or fourth quarter just monsoon.
I went back and found that game you were talking about, Wes. NC State, South Carolina, 1999. Tropical Storm Dennis. For those of you that remember Dennis. Gamecocks turned the ball over 5 times, despite limiting NC State to 96 yards.
96 yards?
Yep.
What was the final score?
10-0 NC State.
Wow.
So not the finest hour for the Gamecocks offense. But
The thing also, I think people maybe forget about that South Carolina-Missouri game because you kind of remember the ending, you remember Scarnecchia, and you remember the monsoon, is that South Carolina was down 17-7, and they were down 23-14. So they actually had a huge third quarter in that game and completely turned it around. Had a Debo Samuel score, a Parker White field goal, and then the Sherrod Green interception. And the thing I remember about that game too is it was just for the small amount of people that were still there, it was loud. Like it was super loud because you kind of had the most hardcore of hardcore people that were still in the stands.
You know, that's kind of one of those things when you're out in nasty weather, especially when it's raining, like you get at the point where you're like, well, I'm as wet as I'm going to be. It's not really going to get worse, so I may as well embrace it while I'm out here and have a good time.
Yeah. You're at that point, it's kind of like in poker when you're pot committed. Like you're committed to the act at this point.
Right.
So it's like, all right, what?
It can't be worse.
Exactly. I'm not going to dry out anytime soon. Anything I have in my pockets is already soaked. Might as well just make a memory.
Exactly.
Pot committed. I love that term. Sounds like a South Carolina country term. I mean, I know it's a poker term. Pot committed instead of like all in.
Well, pot committed just means you've already committed so much money to the pot that you feel like you have to see it through. Like you can't fold at that point.
Right.
It's like, you know what? Maybe it'll go my way. Probably not, but
I've already got.
I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna go down fighting, basically.
Yeah. If I fold now, then I just give that money away.
Exactly.
Basically.
May as well go out swinging, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of weather, obviously South Carolina not playing tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be literally the perfect day for a game here. 77 degrees, a few clouds in the sky, and obviously it's too early to project ahead of next Saturday. But man, like you want to talk about perfect weather for a football game? Hate that we're missing out on that one.
Perfect weather though to sit around, watch football games all day,
sit inside and watch football all day. Watch some baseball too.
Watch the Braves beat the Phillies.
You're sneaking that in this week.
Got to. Trying to speak it into the universe.
I brought this up at the end of the last hour. I don't know if you heard it or not, but I like what the MLB's done with having the 3-game wild card now, where you actually have a legitimate series to decide who goes on.
Yeah,
to the
one
NLDS.
game.
One game was
silly.
It didn't make sense to me because baseball is built on series, obviously, but they don't reseed afterwards.
Yeah.
So the Braves are taking on the number 4 seed despite having the best record, while the Dodgers are taking on the 6th seed despite having the second best record. That bothers me.
Yeah. But you know what? Here's the thing. That seems to be a very common thing for Braves fans to complain about right now. You know, the Braves benefited. The Braves had home field advantage against the Dodgers the year that the Braves won the World Series, and the Dodgers had a much better record in the regular season.
That's true. It goes both ways.
It goes both ways. I mean, reseeding certainly makes sense, I think, but you play the games. So you play who's in front of you. If you're the best team, you'll find a way to win.
But you should
hopefully
theoretically have an easier path if you're the best team overall. Just saying. But hopefully the Braves handle their business as opposed to how they did last year against the Phillies in the NLDS.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
It's gonna be a double and triple screen type of day tomorrow. Chris and I talked about this yesterday. Get out the tablet, get the laptop, get that old phone out of the closet, fire it back up, put it on some Wi-Fi. A lot of great games to watch.
Yeah, so I did 2 TV plus tablet last week.
Nice.
Probably a similar.
Yeah,
it's got to be because there's some good ones.
I mean, at noon alone.
Yeah.
You got Red River, Missouri LSU. I mean, keep an eye on Ohio State and Maryland. We learn what Maryland's really going to be. That game's always tight. They play Ohio State close. You never know.
So, basically, I won't give it away, or let's not give it away. Buy or sell today, brought to you by Kendall Walsh later on, will be basically us making picks.
Yeah,
that's fine.
So, but are we buying in on Missouri at 5-0? Like, I feel like that's the most non-headline 5-0, most non-talked about. Like, I don't hear anybody national media wise talking about, hey, Missouri playoff team. Like, they're a very quiet 5-0.
They are, and they of course have the win over Kansas State with the super long field goal, 61 yards. Like, that's a notable win. But everything other than that, it's kind of, I mean. Beat Memphis,
beat Memphis by 7.
Yeah,
it's a blowout.
Beat South Dakota, one of their games.
They beat Middle Tennessee by 4.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee, who's awful right now. They blew a game against Jacksonville State the other night. Like, no other really quality wins. That being said, LSU also has a really bad defense this year, so there's every opportunity for Missouri to actually be 6-0 coming away from this.
Here's on the flip side. So I have a very weird game that I'm going to be. Probably not watching, but paying attention to out of sheer curiosity. Virginia is a defeated team right now. They are winless.
Perhaps the worst team in the Power 5.
I don't know if they're going to win a game this year. They play Bill and Mary tomorrow.
Shout out to the tribe.
Shout out to Bill and Mary. They're 4-1, Bill and Mary is. Now, will Virginia win? Maybe. Probably, right?
It's not going to be a blowout.
It's not going to be a blowout. Then they play at UNC, at Miami, Georgia Tech, at Louisville, Duke, and Virginia Tech. There might be a few wins in there. There might be a couple. But, man, I don't know if there's definitely one. So, I say, I've already lost to James Madison.
I feel for my guy, Des Kitchings.
Yeah, Tony Elliott, former Clemson OC.
Yeah. Des, Palmetto State guy, Palmetto State native, coached here for a year. Yep. Tough treading at Virginia right now.
Yeah, it's been rough. Obviously, they had tragedy at the end of last year and looking for that first win this season. But, yeah, largely regarded as the worst team in Power 5. But, hey, Bill and Mary might be that opportunity to finally get a win, but it won't be easy.
Hey, you gotta take advantage when you have those opportunities is the thing. Because nobody wants to be the team that you get circled in the history. I mean, South Carolina they've got an 0-11 on the books. But the beauty of that was the 0-11 allowed them to have, at the time, what was like the biggest turnaround in, I think, it wasn't called FBS, but FBS history. I think Hawaii broke that record.
I think UCF might have when they went from like 0-12 to they go 12-1 the next year, 13-0. That might have broken it.
Good grief! I don't think I realized they did that.
The Blake Bortles year, like
Bortles,
they flipped a switch pretty quickly, but that might have broken it. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, so shout out to Virginia. See if you can finally get that win against old Bill and Mary.
Man, there are a lot of potentially tight games like that. I don't even think we've paid attention to yet.
Put them on your picks.
Yeah, we'll
I might have to cut some of these because I don't want us to pick 10 games on air. But
we'll dive into that coming up with our favorite segment of the week. It is Buy or Sell. That's next. You're listening to the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs here on Football Friday on the Game.
You loved Lala Kent on Vanderpump Rules. Now get to know her on Give Them Lala.
When you get married, I'm letting you know, no one gives but you. And when you get remarried, then people really don't, except you. No one needs to hear your backstory and speeches given. It's so boring. Have a cap, like no longer than a minute. No one cares about your love story. I know it's hard to hear.
Watch what Lala is talking about on YouTube or search for Give Them Lala wherever you listen.
Welcome back into the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. Tyler, West, and Chris along with you on a football Friday. The Gamecocks may not be playing tomorrow as they get set to take on Florida next week. Game, of course, coming up at 3:30 next Saturday against the Gators. You can listen to that right here on the game. Pre-game coverage will be starting at 10:30 that morning with myself and Terry Ford for Gamecocks Game Day, broadcasting live out at Sound and Images on Bluff Road. Just because the Gamecocks are off does not mean that we take a week off from our favorite segment of the week. It's time for Buy or Sell.
I am so excited.
You guys wanted music. I got you.
He's so serious about it.
He did not warn us at all.
Got to keep on your toes.
Yes. Appreciate that. Buy or Sell, as always, brought to you by my friend and yours, Kendall Walsh. Guys, guess what? Next week, Thursday, October 12th, we will be broadcasting live from Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Medley from 9 a.m. to noon. That is at 1926 Augusta Road in West Columbia. We'll do the whole Gamecock Central takeover of 3 hours then. And guess what? One lucky winner who comes out and sees us in person, they're going to win 2 tickets to South Carolina versus Florida from 107.5 The Game. So, as always, shout out to Kendall Walsh. Shout out to our friends there at Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Medley. Great sponsor of this segment. And also give them a call, 803-414-3590 if you want to buy, sell, or invest in a home in the Columbia area. Guys, we're just doing picks today. What do you think?
That's cool with me.
All right. And I'm going to tally this.
Okay. Now, are we doing just general picks or against the spread?
General.
Okay.
I think these games are tight enough that picking winners is okay versus spread.
Okay.
So the loser buys everybody else lunch. Okay.
Cool.
All
I
right.
have to wait until I get off at 3, but okay.
Okay, we'll have to rethink that timing.
Happy hour.
Yeah. All right, Oklahoma, Texas. We're going to start this segment the same way that you're going to start your day on Saturday. Noon, ABC. Texas is a 5.5-point favorite. And just because it's very clunky for me to say Oklahoma will buy that Oklahoma no, we're just going to pick it normal. Y'all know it's buy or sell.
Straight up.
So straight up, Oklahoma versus Texas. Again, Texas little under a touchdown underdog. Who is feeling strongly about this one?
I'm not feeling strong, that's for sure. I mean, Dylan Gabriel playing really well. Sooners playing really well, but so is Texas. Quinn Ewers, Sark dialing up some plays. I like Texas because it's in Austin. I'm basically
it's at the Cotton Bowl.
It is at the Cotton Bowl. You're right. Yep, Red River Rivalry. Yep. I read at Texas, and I'm like, gosh.
Which, by the way, next year the SEC will have all 3 regular season neutral site conference games inside the conference. I'm the last one that was outside of it.
I'm going with Texas. I just feel like they're a little bit better right now.
I'm also going to go with Texas, Oklahoma. We don't know enough about Oklahoma right now. They've not played like that high-level quality opponent. Dylan Gabriel off to a great start this season. Didn't play in this game a year ago. Oklahoma got shut out 49-0. Definitely a better team this year. We just know more about Texas, especially after they played Alabama. I'm going to go with the Longhorns.
Yeah, I'll keep it short. Kind of the same reason. It's not even really so much about Texas. It's just I don't know if we're sold on Oklahoma. I'll say it like that. So by default, we go Texas. I put Ohio State, Maryland on here, but I'll just say it like this. Is anybody picking a Maryland upset?
No.
Okay, so that's a gimme. All 3. Ohio State. All right, LSU, Missouri in one of the weirdest top 25 matchups, I feel like, this year. Missouri 5-0, LSU 3-2, LSU favored by 4 in the other Columbia, Missouri.
Where weird things happen.
Weird things do happen because they play in a high school stadium. So,
yikes.
Shots fired, man.
Tyler,
Yeah.
what you got, man?
I think this has the possibility of being a shootout, especially considering how weak LSU's defense is. I don't think it's going to be 55-49 like last week. I think it's a high-scoring game, though. I'm going to go LSU.
I like that. Chris, how you feeling, man?
LSU's been tested more in terms of competition. Taking the LSU Tigers.
Man, this is not going to be good if we all just pick the same teams. But Cody Schrader has been really good for Missouri, I think. I believe, is he healthy? Is he good to go? I think he is.
As far as I know.
Yeah, he's 463 yards rushing already, 5.7 yards per carry. I think he will give LSU some problems, but I like LSU, obviously, at the quarterback position, and I think another big game for Daniels. I'll go LSU as well. All right, Kentucky, Georgia. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to say Kentucky in the upset.
Oh, all right.
In Athens.
There we go.
There's one contrarian, finally. Do you guys know the last time Georgia lost a night game at home?
I do not.
2009. It was against Kentucky, though.
Hey, there you go.
But it's been a while.
Yes.
They're
due to lose one then.
Fair point. However, I think this is finally the week that we see Georgia be the team that people expected them to be.
Yes. I've got Georgia. Remember, I couldn't decide if it was going to be a fourth quarter slugfest or Georgia was going to run away. I'm with Tyler. I've got Georgia. And actually, I have Georgia big in this one.
Georgia big.
Yep.
So I think this is the best Kentucky team we've seen in a while.
Sure.
I do agree with that.
If it was in Kentucky, I'd feel even better about this pick. But my guy, Big Red, Red Fox on Gamecock Central has some really good stuff on picks every single week.
Okay.
And he pointed out how the last, and I'm assuming he's correct on this, 16-6 Georgia last year, a little bit of a blowout in 2021, 30-13, 14-3 Georgia in 2020. Like, these games have kind of just been slogs, like just kind of low scoring, ugly. If that happens again, shortened games this year with the clock running, like, I could see Kentucky hanging around, feeding Ray Davis, and having a chance to win this thing in the end. I'm probably buying in a little bit too much on Kentucky based on what they did to Florida last week because I watched the entire game.
Right.
But, I mean, it would be cool to say I picked it right if it happens. So
I don't know if Georgia's going to give up a ton of rushing yards in back-to-back weeks. They gave up a ton to Auburn last week. I think
you're just a homer, Tyler. That's all this is.
It's been a while since you've called me out for that, so thank you. But, yeah, I got Georgia in this one. I'm thinking this is going to be the blackout game. They keep teasing it. If that adds a little bit of juice to this game, probably. But, yeah, I got to side with Georgia on this one.
All right, Washington State, UCLA. Washington State, number 13 team in the country. They are 4-0, 1-0 in the Pac-12. UCLA is 0-1 in the Pac-12, 3-1 overall, but UCLA is favored this game at the Rose Bowl. Is Washington State in trouble this week as far as losing their undefeated record?
There's a very good chance. UCLA's only loss in the conference is to a very good Utah defense, which they lost 14-7 in that game. I kind of don't want to see the Pac-12 cannibalize itself like we're all predicting they're going to. I'm going to go with Wazoo.
Tyler goes Wazoo. Chris, I'm going to go UCLA, by the way.
Yeah, I'm picking UCLA.
I think UCLA is going to have a lot of success on the ground. I don't know that Washington State is a great defensive team stopping the run. And Chip Kelly, still a very good X's and O's coach, even though he doesn't quite get the hype that he once did. I think UCLA will run the ball quite effectively and find a way to win this game.
How many more picks do we have here?
2 more.
2 more. We'll save those. We'll break up, buy or sell to a second segment here. It is a Football Friday. You're listening to the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs here on the game.
In 1995, veteran police officer Michael Chappell was convicted of armed robbery and murder and has spent the past 30 years in prison. The true crime podcast, In the Land of Lies, explores the untold side to this story, one that could prove Michael Chappell is actually innocent. See why people are calling In the Land of Lies incredible, phenomenal, and a must-hear podcast. Binge the entire series now, and new episodes are coming soon. Imperative Entertainment presents In the Land of Lies. Get the podcast wherever you listen.
Well, Miss Terry told me if we're not playing good to get on their butt. So I just did what I was told.
Welcome back in. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs on a Football Friday. Tyler West and Chris along with you in the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. I don't know if you have Alabama and Texas A&M on your picks for buy or sell or not. I just wanted to play that Saban clip because I've been laughing about it a lot this week that Miss Terry finally got his butt back in gear and he's mean Saban again.
Yeah, so all I can think about is now when I hear Saban talk, is it Joey Molinaro?
Yeah, Molinaro.
Yeah. Sorry, Joey. I don't.
One of the two.
Yeah. All I can think about when I hear Saban talk, because I was on the SEC teleconference this week, which I'm usually not on there. I was listening to it, and Saban was talking the whole time. I was just picturing that guy doing his Twitter Saban impersonations. He did one, I think last week or the week before, with Saban talking to Deion Sanders.
His Deion was really good.
That thing was on point. And that, you got to do it well.
You do.
If you're going to do that, you got to do it well.
He nailed it.
Have y'all heard, Tyler, have you heard Matt Stinchcomb do Kirby Smart?
I have not.
I will send it to you.
Yes, please. I need to hear this.
Stinch actually does the best Spurrier, too.
Stinch does?
Oh, my God.
Does he say program when he does his Kirby impression?
Oh, yeah. He kind of almost over-enunciates.
Well, you got to be a little over the top, I feel like.
A little bit.
Yeah, he does the Kirby extremely well. The Spurrier is phenomenal. Like, he nails the cadence. He sounds a good bit like him, but the cadence, the word usage is perfect.
It's better than Batesy, James Bates.
It's way better than Batesy. Because it's more realistic, even.
I kind of like Bates' is like
Bates is a little
cartoony, though. It's
it's
like
a
over
little
the top.
Caricature, yeah. This one's a little bit like if you listen to it and you were like, Spurrier's on the phone line. Like, it could pass for
If you close your eyes, that's Spurrier talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, please send me that. I need to check that out.
I will.
Bates cracks me up. By the way, speaking of Spurrier, what do y'all think about the fact that they're finally going to bring back 2010 through 2013 teams and honor them this year?
So I was not aware of. I knew obviously nobody was thrilled when Spurrier Upton left in 2015, but I did not understand the rift between the Carolina fan base and Spurrier since that happened till you guys informed me about it.
Well, and see, to be fair, I don't know. This sounds like a great actual question for our Firehouse Subs text line, 404-6100.
Yep.
Are you over it? Are you over the breakup? Are we still having some feelings? I don't know what percentage of the fan base is still upset. Who was upset then but has now kind of moved on? Like I always was like, dude, he gave you your best years ever.
So he has not been in Williams-Brice Stadium since he left. Is that correct?
Or
at least in a recognized position.
He's been there.
He's been there. Yeah, and I'm not recalling if they've done some type of honoring. I don't remember any like, hey, here's Steve Spurrier. It's probably slipping our mind if so.
Well, when did he try? When did they try the off the bench play with him at the spring game and he dropped it? You remember that?
I do.
I mean,
yes, I do.
He wasn't the head coach at that time, so that had
2018.
So he was there then.
Yep.
Okay.
I feel like he was here with Florida.
Well,
that doesn't count.
I mean, he's obviously done a lot more things with Florida.
Well, he's an
since
ambassador
he's retired,
for them
right?
now.
Like he's at their games, an ambassador. They named the field after him, for crying out loud. Like he more leans towards them, which I mean, he played there. Obviously, won the national championship. Like I get it, but yeah, I didn't quite understand the dislike the fan base had for him since that happened in 2015.
Well, again, I don't know if it's the fan base or is it 30% of the fan? Is it 10? Is it 50?
We'll see what the reception for him in the stadium is.
If you boo Spurrier, come on.
That's what I wondered, though. As soon as I heard that, my literal first thought was, I bet there's going to be some people that boo him. Like, it will be my opinion, my prediction.
It's not going to be the majority. But
no,
there will
the majority.
Be some.
It's actually going to be a very loud ovation in his favor. But there's going to be a few people, and they've had a few pops in there and everything in the stadium.
Well, it also depends on how they present it, because if they just say the 2010 to 2013 South Carolina team, everybody's going to cheer. If they say, as somebody's getting chased by the police behind us there on Gervais Street, but if they say, here's Steve Spurrier and the 2010 to 2013 Gamecocks, you might get a split reaction there.
Well, I was about to say, if you're USC, do you kind of have to frame this thing up? Like, it stinks that you're even thinking about that, because I would think you would want, in a perfect world, to be able to separately, and the all-time winningest coach in your school's entire history, Steve Spurrier, and let him get that ovation. But is there some danger there? I think it's been long enough that you can separate the fact he left versus the big years.
I'm getting some reactions here. Brad says, he gave me too much to hate him. I was mad for a few months. Will always love him moving forward. Never had any hard feelings. Respect him. Let's see. One more here. One person on the other side of things. Will never be over someone who quit on us midseason. That's Tim from Charleston.
So I went back recently. I don't know what spurred me to do this, but I went back and listened to a couple of the interviews that he gave right after he walked away. And I would encourage anybody, if just go back and watch them anyway, but if you are on that other side where you're mad about it, go back and listen and just see if maybe you have a different perspective. Because if you go back and listen, it almost, he fired himself, right? He from what he said, and I think he was sincere in it, like he felt like he was not doing a good job and he felt like he was doing a disservice to the team, so he walked away. And if he had been like literally fired in the middle of that, people couldn't have been mad at him.
Yeah.
So it was a unique situation for sure, and he of course put it in terms that only Spurrier could. But I think some people, if you go back and look at it, maybe you might arrive at a different conclusion. Maybe.
Well, I think some people just don't believe him. Like, they think this was to save his record.
Well, and for somebody that was as long, and let's face it, it's almost an anomaly these days for somebody to be coaching in a place for a decade.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that he was here this long, and obviously somebody that's had the success that he has, wanting to go out on your own terms and not get fired, like, you get it to some degree. Like, hey, I'm the one that's saying I'm stepping away. They're not going to fire me, basically.
Well, and he said for the longest time, the second that I'm not the best to do it, I will literally walk away. And he did. He did. So, I don't know. I know it's I don't know if messy's the word. It's a complex situation, but here we sit. Nobody has duplicated to the yet what he did. So I think that's meaningful. I think that matters. I think it's been long enough, y'all. Like, I would hope he gets a standing ovation, honestly. But I do wonder, like, we all knew he was going to be a kind of Florida guy when he left. That was always going to be the case. But would he have been around here more if he didn't feel? He feels those mixed feelings.
Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, we have somebody on the phone lines. Jim wants to weigh in and give his opinion on Spurrier. Jim, you got about 60 seconds. How are you feeling about Spurrier?
Look, I just want to tell you guys, I went to Georgia, so I don't hate him. But I grew to like him when he came here. I live here. But when he gave up in the middle of the season, he sent a message to everyone. When it gets tough, you just bail. And I'm sorry, that's the wrong message to send. And he's gone way down in my eyes. Yes, he did a nice job for the first 3 years, but it's terrible. It's a terrible message. He should have carried out through the season and then left them. Of course, recruiting and everything, it was terrible. I'll hang up and listen.
I appreciate the call, Jim. And again, phone line 803-404-6100. And like, we're not telling you to feel one way or the other. You're entitled to whatever your opinion is. And I'm getting blown up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
That's what I was hoping
people
for.
Are very passionate about this. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. And I was genuinely curious as well. Like, I feel like it would have been a even higher split towards, hey, I'm ticked off if you'd have done this poll right when it happened.
Sure.
I'm curious to see how it's kind of maybe changed since then.
We will get to some of your text. We'll also
maybe we'll finish by ourselves.
Make our final two picks as well. But it's going to be a full weekend full of not only football but baseball as well. If you want a great setup, you need to give our friends at Integrated Media a call.
Yeah, you absolutely do. Wes is going to have, what'd you say again, Wes? A couple TVs.
Oh, yeah,
You're going to have 2 TVs, the tablet.
I need to just have them come out and just hang both TVs and not tell my wife that it's happening, and then she'll just come back. There'll be 2 TVs hanging in the living room.
She can't be mad, though, because it would look great. It would look phenomenal.
She would say there's 1 TV per living room.
Well, that is true. But if you want 2 or 3 or 4, whatever
10.
you want, to 10, they can do it for you.
Home theater system.
Michael and Nathan, the guys at Integrated Media, can do it. And also, Wes, here's something you worked on at your home. They came out and helped you with this. I mean, your internet, man. You got to make sure you have a great signal. If you're going to run 5, 6, 10 devices at once to watch all the different sports, you don't want the buffering signal to come up. They can come out. They can help you with that. They can mount all your stuff. They can do a complete smart home system for you, home theater. Make sure your audio and your video are running at top notch. IntegratedMediaInc.com or hit up Michael and Nathan from Integrated Media at 803-948-8327.
Wrap up the day coming up next. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour on Football Friday presented by Firehouse Subs here on the game. Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. On a Football Friday, Tyler, Wes, and Chris along with you. You know, I always have a plan going into these shows, and sometimes it just goes off the rails, but that's okay. We're producing good content, and that's what matters.
No plans needed.
I feel like we need to knock out these last 2 picks really quick because we still got to get into more of the Spurrier stuff. So what are the final 2 games we need to pick, Wes?
Okay, I'll ask it like this then. Is anybody picking Louisville to knock off Notre Dame? Anybody willing to go there? Notre Dame's about a 6.5-point favorite, I think, depending on where you look. Anybody willing to go there?
Got Notre Dame.
Notre Dame for Chris.
I'll be a contrarian.
You going Louisville?
2 highly emotional games in back-to-back weeks for Notre Dame, going on the road to Louisville. Louisville played on Friday night last week, an extra day off.
Ooh.
Give me the Cardinals.
I actually kind of like that. Dude, is Louisville not kind of good? Are they okay?
Sneaky good.
We're going to learn tomorrow.
We'll find out tomorrow. I'll go Notre Dame, but I do kind of like that pick, Tyler. Sneaky pick there. Alabama versus A&M. We'll go all the way back to Saban. That was a perfect clip, but we never got to it.
I don't know if you guys have heard this. Milroe might be dealing with the hamstring injury.
Ooh.
That factors in here.
They have multiple other quarterbacks.
They're not good.
No, they don't. That's a joke.
I'm not putting my faith in the hands of Tyler Buckner or Ty Simpson, I'll tell you that much.
Dylan Lonergan era starting tomorrow. Just kidding. But I can't get over the fact that A&M got smashed by Miami. True. While simultaneously thinking of an A&M defense that has like 100 tackles for loss in the last 2 weeks.
Right.
Against an Alabama offensive line that's just been not good. So that's where my head's at right now.
I'm going to give Alabama the benefit of the doubt. I think it could be a very tight game, though, because A&M's defense has played a whole lot better since that Miami game.
Yeah, that's a good point. And this, dude, over-under is 46 for this. Like,
yeah,
that's kind of old school. Like,
it is. Like, this
is a low number.
This is definitely like a 20-17
slugfest.
2009 SEC Classic.
You know, and if it comes down to it, can Alabama throw the football late in a tight game? I don't know. I'm almost talking myself into picking A&M.
Sounds like it.
But I feel like if you're unsure, you just always go Nick Saban.
I think he's earned that right.
But this is South Carolina's entire coaching staff from a couple of years ago. Chris, who you got, man?
I've got Bama. By the way, secondary market tickets, lowest $118 $118. So hottest ticket is in the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, where that game is at, which apparently I neglect to remember sometimes from earlier. But $276 for the Red River rivalry. The cheapest ticket, if y'all are interested, if you want to go somewhere during the bye week, you can get in for as low as where was that at? Low as $2 if you want to head over to Starkville.
Which, by the way, when did they stop calling it the Red River Shootout?
Western Michigan against Mississippi State. $2. That's a good question.
Like, it's changed in recent years, but it used to be consistently the Red River Shootout, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Can you not say shootout anymore?
I think that's
not.
the...
I mean, look, they try and clean up rivalry names. They tried to change Georgia, Florida to the River City Showdown a couple years ago, and nobody bought into that. We made the joke that it sounded like a beer league softball tournament, the River City Showdown. It's the cocktail party. It's always going to be the cocktail party.
It always will be.
Yeah. Who did you say, Tyler? Who did you pick?
I picked Alabama.
You going Bama?
Do it, Wes.
Do it.
Do it.
No, I got to stay consistent. I think I have Bama in my picks with Colin Taylor, who's waiting patiently outside.
Well, this is the picks on the GC
By the way,
Takeover
I'm
Hour.
winning those picks, by the way. So this is important.
You passed
That's
Kendall?
true.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Am I getting smoked still?
It's funny Kendall hasn't brought up that she's lost the lead.
Yeah. She very purposely only mentioned it that 1 week. I don't know, man. I'm still... You know what? Give me A&M.
All right.
Peer pressure. I'm going to change my pick on Colin's picks, too. I don't think they've been published yet. So
well, he's sitting out there, so you
A&M
can
in the upset.
You can take it up with the editor.
Even though it's a 1-point game. It is at A&M. So I think that matters.
Last time Alabama went to College Station, they lost. First time Saban ever lost to an assistant, and he's now lost to 2 more since then.
Ooh, good point. I'm feeling good about it
Tip
now.
of the iceberg.
What? I know we don't have any time hardly, but
you know what? And me and Colin can dive back more into this
once
we get to 12 o'clock hour because people are very, very passionate about this. But yes, it's very split.
I was about to say, do you have any judge? Like, is it about 50-50 or is it just really hard to tell?
I would say it's about 50-50.
Really?
I got a ton of text on the Firehouse Subs text line. I have to sort through more of this with Colin coming up in the 12 o'clock hour. I did not realize people would be this passionate about it.
By the way, you're welcome for doing y'all's next show for me.
Thank you. That's a segment right there.
I want to add this to what they say.
Okay.
Would you actually boo Steve Spurrier when he is announced?
Yes, please let us know. 803-404-6100 Firehouse Subs text line. Would you boo the old ball coach when they recognize him at Williams Rice Stadium? It's a good question.
If you're hungry, go check out our friends at Firehouse Subs. 14 Midlands locations. Go check out the new King's Hawaiian pork and slaw sandwich. This thing's absolutely outstanding. FirehouseSubs.com. Rapid Rescue or the Firehouse Subs app.
Best way to do it.
Best way to do it. Earn yourself some rewards.
Absolutely. Always appreciate our friends at Firehouse Subs for sponsoring the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour presented by Firehouse Subs. Halftime show with myself and Colin coming up next here on The Game.
You loved Lala Kent on Vanderpump Rules. Now get to know her on Give Them Lala.
I used to be so down with dudes giving me pet names right off the bat. The second a dude, I first meet him and he calls me baby, I'm like, and we're done here. Goodbye.
Really?
Yeah, don't call me babe, baby, boo, bye.
Interesting. That's
but
a big
I
red
can
flag.
call them boo because I call everybody boo.
What if that's their excuse?
Yeah.
That's funny.
No, you don't. You're a man. You move different than me.
Watch what Lala is talking about on YouTube or search for Give Them Lala wherever you listen.